What if I told you that I copied an iPhone app from the App Store that's generating over $200,000 a month without writing a single line of code? Well, most people think that you need years of coding experience or maybe a computer science degree to create successful apps, but here's what nobody's telling you. AI has completely changed the game. Because while everyone else is still learning Swift or Xcode, I discovered something that blew my mind. So here in the screenshot, you can see proof that the original app from the App Store generated $200,000 last month. The app is called I Am Sober. It's a sobriety tracking app that helps people stay accountable on their recovery journey. It has simple features like day counters and motivational reminders, but it is making serious money. And here's the best part. I'm gonna show you exactly how to copy this winning formula using just one AI tool that builds entire apps directly from your phone. No coding, no complicated software, just simple prompts that turn your ideas into real functioning apps. I use the most powerful AI coding tool available right now, and it literally built the entire app for me. So that by the end of this video, you are going to know the exact step-by-step process to vibe code your own money-making app, even if you've never touched a line of code in your life. So let's go ahead and dive in. The AI tool that will take care of everything for us today will be Rocket.new. Now, I added a special link in the description down below, so you can go ahead and check it out too. A lot of people I know have great app ideas, better than mine, but they never move past the what if stage because they assume that building an app is complicated, expensive, and expansive, or completely out of reach. Sometimes it's a hobby they just want to turn into something useful, and sometimes it's just a simple tool they wish they had. And the problem usually is not the idea, it's the building part that feels heavy before anything else even starts. Since today we are going to try vibe coding a sobriety tracker to see what it actually looks like to turn an idea into a real app with AI, we're going to need a platform that lets us move fast. So we'll be using Rocket for the build, and this is where it all starts. So to begin, open up the App Store on your device and search for Rocket App Studio. Since the app is still pretty new, it might not appear right away at the top of the results, so you may need to scroll just a little bit until you see it. And once you do find the application, tap into it as you would and download it like on any other app. After the installation finishes up, open Rocket App Studio and log in. As soon as you're signed in, you're officially ready to start the app building process with Rocket. And from here on out, everything we do will happen inside of this platform. Now, I've seen a lot of people rush straight into building features because they're super excited about what the app does, and then only to realize later on that the layout doesn't feel right or the flow is confusing. And that's usually when things get messy and expensive to fix. So we need to start with the front end first to make everything clearer, because it will let us visualize the app as a real product instead of just an idea. Alrighty, so once you're inside Rocket, the goal here is to have it generate only the front end of the app so we can see the full structure before adding any logic. To do that, we'll give Rocket this prompt. Hey Rocket, let's build an awesome sobriety tracker app. First, build out only the front end of the project without any actual functionality. Create a dashboard, a motivation section, a pledge section, a savings calculator, and of course, settings. As Rocket starts working, it will ask us a few follow-up questions like what type of application I'm building and which sections you want included. So for this project, I will select all available sections and choose to make it a mobile app, since that is how most users would realistically interact with something like this. After confirming those choices, we simply just wait for Rocket to complete the build. After that, you can see here that the front end has been successfully created with every requested section already laid out and easy to navigate. Since Rocket is asking these questions upfront about app type and pages, you're only spending credits on exactly what you ask it to build instead of generating unnecessary screens. Also, in this case, I will include every single section to showcase Rocket's full potential. But in a real world project, you can easily limit pages and features to keep things efficient and cost effective. But for many people on a sobriety journey, progress isn't measured in big milestones. It's measured one day at a time. So having a place to log those days and visually see that effort can add up to be incredibly motivating, especially during moments when staying consistent feels difficult. So here we will build out the core of this tracker. And this feature will live inside the pledge section where users can actively log how many days they've stayed sober. Alongside that, Rocket also needs to create a corresponding widget on the dashboard, so progress is always visible at a glance. To build this out, let's give Rocket this instruction. Great job! Now please build the sobriety tracker feature. Make sure that the user can track the days they have been sober, accompanied by additional information that can help them through their journey. Create a widget for this in the dashboard that corresponds to its respective section. And after submitting the prompt, we'll wait for Rocket to complete the build. And right after that, the change is immediately noticeable. As you can see here, the pledge section now functions as an active tracker where a sober day can be logged and that entry updates the app right away. You can also see here that as soon as we record a day, the dashboard reflects the progress through the widget, which then shows consistency and gives me as a user a clear, encouraging snapshot of how far they've come. Staying consistent with something, anything as challenging as sobriety, often comes down to small wins. Seeing progress visually, whether it's days stacking up or months being reached or years being unlocked, congrats, can be a powerful motivator. So I want visual milestones to turn abstract progress into something tangible, to give users reminders that their effort is paying off, and also encouraging them to keep going even when motivation dips. So here, our next step is to enhance it by adding visual milestones. And these milestones break progress down into meaningful markers like days and months and years, making the journey feel more achievable and rewarding. So to do this, we'll ask Rocket to build on top of the existing tracker. Now please enhance the sobriety tracker by adding visual milestones to it, such as years, months, and days. Enhance this by making it as creative as possible to entice the user to stick their journey. And once that prompt is submitted, Rocket will now process it and then generate our update. After the update is complete, now one thing I can say then is that the tracker feels noticeably a lot more engaging. As you can see right away, there you go, a dedicated milestone display now appears inside the pledge section, visually highlighting progress at different stages of the journey. And here it's clear how the days and months and years are being tracked. Because rather than just logging days and moving on, you can actually see how close you are to hitting meaningful milestones, which, at least to me, makes the experience a lot more rewarding, more encouraging, and a lot more motivating as well to stick with over the long term. But the thing is, progress does look different for everyone, and that's especially true when it comes to sobriety. Some people are focused on just getting through today, while others are working towards a specific long-term goal that means something personal to them. So if we're going to give users the ability to define their own pledges, it will help the app feel less rigid and more supportive. I want to turn it into something that adapts to each individual's journey instead of forcing everyone into the same structure. So with that in mind, the next step is expanding the existing daily pledge system. So instead of only logging sobriety day by day, users should also be able to create custom pledges and also personal goals inside the same pledge section. This will keep everything in one place and makes goal setting feel like a natural extension of daily tracking. To build this out, we'll give Rocket this prompt. Now expand the daily pledge system by allowing the user to create custom pledges and goals. After submitting our prompt, we'll give Rocket just a moment or two to finish generating the update. And as you can see, there you go, a new custom goal creator now lives right inside the pledge section. And from here, a user can create a personal pledge. Like here, I'm gonna say I want to reach 8 months of sobriety, for example, and then confirm it in just a few taps. And as soon as it's saved, you can see it properly logged, sitting alongside the daily tracking, which makes longer term goals feel just as real and actionable as the day-to-day progress. All right, so a big part of staying consistent with any personal goal really is reflection. Some days are easy and others are really hard, and having a space to write things down can make a huge difference over time. Notes can give users a way to capture thoughts, their emotions, or even small wins in the moment, so that they're not just tracking progress only, but also really understand why certain days felt the way that they did. So to build this out, we're going to expand the daily pledge system one more step by allowing users to add custom notes and daily logs. Now, these notes will live inside the same pledge section right alongside sobriety tracking and goals, so everything stays connected in just one place. And to make this happen, let's go ahead and get back to Rocket with now please further expand the daily pledge system by allowing the user to create custom notes and logs so they can reflect on it after the day. And behind the scenes here, Rocket is automatically, of course, handling all of the complex backend work by integrating directly with Supabase. And that means user authentication is already set up, database tables are created for things like notes and daily logs, and file storage is configured for images and documents without any extra steps. So you don't have to leave the platform or connect to services manually or write backend logic all by yourself. Rocket takes care of authentication, of data management and storage automatically, which is why features like saving notes work instantly and reliably too. So after our feature is added, you can easily spot the improvement here. You can see a new option in the pledge section that lets users add their own notes, making reflection just a tap away. Okay, so let's try to add a note like trying to be better. Then let's go ahead and save that. And as you can see, there you go. You can immediately see that it's properly stored within our system. Everything works smoothly. Now, one of the most important parts of changing a habit, any habit, is understanding what sets it off in the first place. And triggers can come from things like stress, our environment, our routines, or even specific emotions. And being able to recognize them over time makes a huge difference in long-term success. So I want to give users a way to log their triggers to help users identify patterns instead of just reacting randomly to them. To build this feature, we're going to add trigger logging directly into the existing pledge section. So again, everything stays centralized. And as I mentioned earlier, this will allow users to log their triggers related to any negative habit they're trying to break and revisit them later on for reflection. So here's the prompt we'll give to Rocket. Now please add the ability to log triggers for any negative habit the user is trying to pledge so they can reflect on it as well. And here it is. We will log a new trigger entry inside the application, and as soon as it's saved, it shows up properly within our system. The trigger is clearly recorded and stored alongside the rest of the pledge data, which makes it easy to revisit later on. The core functionality now works as expected, confirming that trigger logging is now successfully integrated into our app. All right, so most people don't think about apps in terms of individual features. They think about how they'll actually use them day to day, right? So opening up the app, let's go ahead and check on some progress, logging how our day went and moving on. And so here, I also want to make sure the app fits naturally into that routine and that it feels intuitive when everything is used together. So for this walkthrough, let's go ahead and start by checking each section that we've completed so you can get a full sense of how the app is structured. After that, let's try to add a pledge for today, and you'll see the pledge section update right away, along with the milestones reflecting that progress. Then we'll try to add a reflection note for the day as well. We'll also log my triggers, and right after that, we'll view everything together so that we can clearly see how all of the features connect and work smoothly. And right now, everything we set out to build is in place. The app just isn't functional. It's more than that. It's cohesive, supportive, and it's easy to use. Each feature flows into the next one, and the experience makes sense from the user's perspective, which is exactly what we want before we move forward to polishing and testing or sharing it with others. Moving forward, motivation tends to change over time because what feels powerful on, say, day one doesn't always hit the same way weeks later, which is why having a dedicated place to remind yourself why you started can be incredibly helpful. And this section is meant to be personal. Now, I'll focus on building the motivation section itself, and the goal here is to let my users create personal motivation stories, to write notes about why they chose to quit, and add photos that help reinforce that decision. Here's what we're going to ask Rocket to do. Now build the motivation section. Allow users to be able to write personal notes such as reasons for quitting as reminders and the ability to add photos. Create a set of personalized motivational goals such as what becomes possible in 30 days. And after everything is generated, the motivation section is now filled with real, meaningful content. So let's try to add here a personal reason for quitting. And you can see that it was saved successfully. We'll also try to upload a motivational photo. And you can see here that we have no issue for this one. Everything is stored exactly where it should be. Definitely a great addition to our tracker so far. But keep in mind that even when all the core features are actually working, the experience can still feel, well, flat if everything changes instantly with no visual feedback at all. So adding subtle animations is a great way to help in guiding the user's eyes, making navigation feel smoother and in giving the app a more professional, finished feel without really overcomplicating anything. So to accomplish this, we'll start using Rocket's built-in commands to enhance the app. So inside the prompt box here, we'll type /, then select animations and effects, and choose add screen transitions. And once that option is selected, we'll pair it with this prompt. Please improve the application by adding subtle but unique screen transitions when navigating around the app. So what I like here is that I don't have to think about how to phrase anything. I'm not tweaking any wording or hoping that the AI understands what I mean. I'm just simply choosing the command I want and then moving on. Rocket has a whole set of these commands, whether it's layout changes or theme adjustments or even integrations later on, and they all work the same way. You are just telling it exactly what to do, and then it responds to that, which makes changes like this one feel really controlled instead of experimental. All right, so now let's check what Rocket's generated for us. And as we move between sections here, we can see a smooth, subtle animation guiding each screen change. This makes the navigation feel a lot more natural and intentional, and this definitely added a layer of polish to the entire app. And it's easy to achieve since we can rely on Rocket's command system instead of experimenting with wordy prompts. One of the most useful parts of building with Rocket is how easy it is to share your work and let others build on top of it. And the good thing here is that we don't need to start from scratch every single time because Rocket allows us to turn our app into a remixable project, which is perfect for collaboration and learning or even showcasing a foundation that others can customize and expand upon. To create a remix, we'll just start by clicking the settings icon here in the top left corner of the app. From there, select Create Remix Link, and once that option is clicked, Rocket will take a few minutes to generate the remix. After all the processing, there you go. You're going to see a unique link appear confirming that the remix has been created. And this link can now be shared with others, allowing them to use your application as a nice starting point and continuing building on top of everything that you've already created. What makes this especially useful is that Rocket has built-in safety features working in the background for us. So every significant change creates an automatic checkpoint. So in case someone does experiment with the project or takes it in a different direction, you can always roll back to an earlier version. On top of that, Rocket also supports CSV and Excel uploads, which means apps built from a remix can handle real data right away. And that makes collaboration safer and ensures the app stays practical for real-world use, not just demos. Now, going back to refining our tracker, for a lot of people, motivation isn't just emotional, it's practical. Being able to see the financial impact of staying sober can be just as powerful as tracking days or writing reflections. So one thing that I want to happen is to turn sobriety into something measurable, like money saved over time, in order to give users another concrete reason to stay consistent and reinforces the long-term benefits of their progress. Okay, so here's what we're going to do next. We'll use Rocket's command, which lets us directly reference and upgrade a specific section of the app instead of rebuilding everything from scratch. So this is like the same command system I mentioned earlier with the /, and building this feature is one of those cases where Rocket's command system really does help because we're not going to be guessing or rebuilding anything. What we're doing is just going to point at the exact section we want to improve and then let it handle the rest for us. All right, so inside the prompt box, we'll type and select the @savings_calculator section from the apps directory. Once that section is selected, we'll give Rocket a prompt like, now please update the @savings_calculator section and build the actual functionality so that the user can see their estimated savings based on the duration of their sobriety. And once the build is complete, the savings section is now no longer just a placeholder. You can immediately see projections and clear insights showing me estimated savings based on sobriety duration and also past consumption. On top of that, the section provides deeper breakdowns, including projected savings, potential investments, and additional financial factors based on flexibility. So this is really impressive because the savings calculator is now a practical, motivating tool that can help users visualize the real-world impact of the progress. Okay, so by this time, all of the core features are now in place, and the app is ready to be taken out of the builder and viewed as an actual usable product. Publishing is what makes all of that happen. It will let you open the app in a real environment to test it out as a user would and share it with others for feedback or demos. To publish the app, we'll just click the Launch button here in the upper right corner of Rocket. And from there, we'll select Launch on Web. And since this app has already been published once for preview, we'll just go ahead and click Update to push the latest changes live. And after the update is done, we can copy the generated link here and then open it in the browser to preview our app. And there it is, the full application is now live and accessible. And this just goes to show that everything we built is working together outside of the editor. And that's it. One idea built end to end, all live right before your eyes. And this is how people are vibe coding apps now. They're faster builds and fewer blockers and way more shipping. This is the kind of process behind apps that quietly scale into serious revenue. So if you want more walkthroughs just like this, you know what to do. Thank you for investing your time with me today, and I'll see you at the next one.